Hey ladies and gentlemen, Buddha here bringing you this 5th game of the Huck replay pack that I have been casting. This will be the last one. Unfortunately, I have run out of Huck games. And in case you haven't tuned in until the last games, I am still in awe at how epic something happened here that was just that got me speechless and laughing uncontrollably. Not in the last game, in the one before. Huck was playing another Zerg, and on the center of Tal'Darim Altar, when the two armies collided, he actually threw down 3 storms, and at that exact time there was a lightning bolt right outside my house and some thunder right at the exact same times, and I just started laughing uncontrollably. It was just that epic. Huck's storms actually generate real lightning. That is how good Huck is. Yeah, that's right. Now, I have just watched the GSL, Huck playing the GSL, and there were some amazing games. If you have not seen them, go watch them. It is worth the $10 per season. We are actually 3 of my friends on the same account, so that brings it down to like $3-4 a season. Very, very worth it if you are a GSL fan. This Overlord actually spawning the pylon and moving back, I don't think Huck actually sees it, or else he would not be scouting up here. He does send eventually this probe down here. He knows now the positioning of his Zerg opponent. His Zerg opponent actually going for a hatch on 16, and that is very bold against Huck. Huck could, if he decides to put early pressure, he should win this. I guess his opponent knows that he needs an edge against Huck, especially Huck, such a great player, and that is how he thinks he's going to get it, going for a very late hatch and a very late pool. His opponent, I can't actually read this, so if you guys can read this, just post in the comment what his name is, but for casting purposes, from now on, he will be henceforth be known as John. So John the Blue Zerg. John, because it is simply very easy to cast with John. John now getting his extractor for that speed, and Huck actually getting 1 extractor, and his cybernetics core starting with that Overlord. Seeing the cybernetics core, he will slowly but surely float away. Gonna spot if Huck has that second gas on the way back home, and little engagement here. Some hate between the Protoss and the drone, but he will be thwarted away. The expansion already done, and double queens going down for John. Huck, nothing too particular here, opting to go for only 1 gas. He usually gets that second gas quite early, just for some force fields. He loves having a lot of sentries, and expanding behind this feels very safe. And Huck actually sending a probe down here. Will he go for a fast expansion? Yes, there it goes. He does throw down a very fast expansion behind a single gateway with that zealot blocking the way. Now John just now starting his speed and taking guys off gas, so he will be focusing on macro. No roaches or nothing else coming down for John. Huck now starting his second gas, so we will be seeing a kind of sentry heavy build. He's now gathering minerals. I guess he will throw down 2 more gateways as soon as he gets back home with this probe. Still no 2 more gateways. He is racking up more money. So, okay, there they go, the 2 more gateways. 1 Ling scouting the top of the ramp here. He does see the expansion for Huck. And John's Zergling actually heads back to the center of the map, hiding behind these trees. Depending where you are, you can or cannot see him. See, now he's completely hidden. And Huck, actually nothing too particular. A lot of links here on the map for John, so I wonder what use he's gonna make of these lings. Actually making even more links, so there are now 22 links on the map. He will try and harass this base with only 2 sentries and a zealot. This might actually work, but with Warp Gate now just finishing, I feel like this is just a tiny bit late. If he really wanted to do some damage, he needed more lings while this Nexus was still warping in, just to force the cancel. These sentries will be able to use all those force fields. Nice little nice little maneuver here by John, actually attacking the sentries, forcing a force field to prevent these from actually moving out. And well played by John. John, our Korean friend, is actually showing us how it's done. Now doing a lot of damage with these lings, but being cleaned up, and great positioning by Huck, not even losing a single sentry here. Did John get any probes? Not losing a single probe by Huck. So Huck really, despite being blocked off by this force field, actually lost nothing here. Maybe he lost one sentry, resources lost 150, so I guess he did lose one sentry, but I mean, John lost a lot of lings, lost 22 lings here, so Huck, really, really incredible defense here. If you're wondering, I think I'll actually watch that part again after this replay, just because it was an amazing defense. I wonder how that happened. There were 22 Zerglings that forced a force field here, trapped all the units, and still John did absolutely no damage to Huck. Now scouting around the map for some hidden pylons. As we all know, Huck loves to put those hidden pylons everywhere on the map, but they usually are a bit later than this, just to warp in reinforcements wherever he can. Small army here by Huck, no stalkers. Now a single stalker, only exclusively zealots and sentries are moving forward, and not many units here by John. We will see if he's able to hold this. He actually is going for a third already up, and that might have cost him a few units. Huck decides to actually walk off with some great force fields, though. I feel like he could have taken this on, but Huck feeling that he is in a great position here. 44 to 49 harvesters to 50 harvesters, so Huck not far behind in harvester count. Now throwing down a robotics facility and getting quadruple gas. Gonna be actually chrono boosting weapons upgrade level 1 for that ground army. 4 stalkers now on the field, and glial reconstitution for John, so that is roach speed, very normal to have, as well as burrow. But with that robotics facility finishing up, I don't think burrow will be very effective here, especially since Huck usually chrono boosts that observer as soon as the robotics facility is done. Now actually Overlord speed also starting, and still no observer from Huck, and there it starts. And Huck, I wonder when he's gonna gear up for a third base. I feel like he is very safe behind this. Zerg can't actually attack right now. There are way too many forces by Huck, and warping more stalkers, more of that heavy gateway units. A lot of sentries here, most of them with full energy, so that is 9 sentries. That is a lot of force fields. Most of these guys have 4... was that a changeling that just got shot down? I think it is, or else Huck just killed one of his units. That is a lot of sentries. They have force fields by sentries, by the way. That's what I wanted to say. Now this observer gonna make its way forward, gonna spot all of these roaches, and Huck might actually decide to engage this. He has a lot of force fields. He can cut this army in half about 3 or 4 times with all those force fields. With burrow, these can regenerate, but I don't think they have burrow movement, so they will be stuck behind those force fields and nothing to do about it. Great force fields, only spending 3 here, completely denying these roaches access to the rest of this army. Not trapping any though, so that could have been a tiny bit better. But Huck now actually placing a zealot here on getting pooped on by the Overlord. That's not where you want to be as a zealot. I mean, he's just saying, I did not sign up for this. Guys, get me out of here. And Huck eventually does and cleans up that Overlord. Huck will have to wait for this creep to disappear before throwing down his Nexus. 3 more gateways being thrown down, and Hydras being produced by John. And still no Colossus tech for Huck. A second observer now is making its way on the map, as well as a macro hatch by John. So he feels like he really needs a lot more units on the map. The Hydra upgrade, range upgrade, is now done. burrow movement now starting for for John, and 8 more roaches on the way. This is now a huge army, 187 to 142 supply for John, so he has really been macroing up like a madman. You can see 74 harvesters already. He should be gearing up for a 4th base at the same time, and as he attacks here, I really think that that macro hatch could have been a lot more useful up here. With that creep spread, if he had better creep spread, he could have actually linked those bases together and gotten a 4th base instead of a macro hatch, which would have allowed him to produce as many units, but allowed him to have a 4th base after this engagement. John being very indecisive here about this engagement. Huck blinking forward, aggressive blink, nice force fields, completely cutting this army in half. These back roaches and hydras not doing any damage, while Huck actually blinks back about half his stalkers. Nice engagement, more force fields blocking down this entire top half of the army. A lot more force fields going down, and Huck actually might be forced to retreat. Some changeling getting pooped out here, gonna make their way into Huck's army, and these 2 changelings will get picked off now. They are very obvious sitting in front here, not being able to get controlled by Huck. And these armies decide to disengage, and this lonely zealot changeling in the mass Zerg army, he is feeling like an outcast right now. Finally, the robotics base starting for Huck. He feels like he needs Colossus to deal with these hydras and roaches. And 24 Zerglings going up for John, as well as the infestation pit just for that hive tech, I believe, or maybe even to lock down these blink stalkers. The huge engagements here. Once again, this Zerg army is very, very powerful, especially with those hydras and backs. 2 forces going down for Hug, not going to do much. Will he be able to actually keep this from ravaging his base? Nice blink micro by Hug, blinking back the injured stalkers, but this might just be too many units for John. Will John be the one who finally gets to take down Huck? Huck looking very bad here, actually needs more reinforcements. John really needs to stream these reinforcements. Huck might be able to actually clean this up with another round of warp gates. But these lings now entering the field, and this is so close. Huck actually pulling drones, pulling probes off the line to fight the lings. Lings do huge damage. They do have that 1 carapace upgrade. These ranged units do have 1/1. And John actually doing a lot of damage. Huck GG's out of here, and John is the first player who actually kills Huck. So Huck going 4-1 in this replay pack. Great games, and finally he gets taken down by John. And here we go. I actually want to see that first engagement again. Some great control by Huck when that did happen. And let me just find it. It was when the Nexus actually finished, so I just want to see that again. And it should be soon. Yeah, these 22 lings. So we will be watching it in slow motion, and look at this. Look at this. You can actually see John forcing a force field here to block the rest of the units up the ramp. And now, actually, these lings are free to hack away at these probes. I feel like if he had just gone down here, he could have done a lot more damage. These probes just going back to their sentry friends. More force fields preventing any kind of damage. 2 sentries being locked away with these force fields, and Huck, that is how you do not lose anything. I mean, look at that perfect placement there, and Huck losing a single sentry here in against 22 lings. That was just amazing hold by Huck. I can't believe he didn't lose anything there. That was quite amazing. Anyways, so thanks for tuning in, guys. If you enjoy these, follow me on JustinTV/BuddhaZerg to know when I go online live, or just stick to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching.